Hey Taurus, TT here. I have a channeled message for those of you that, maybe currently feeling like you're being tested right now, like the universe is testing your judgment, okay? If you are the type of Taurus where you're very trustworthy, you have a plethora of wisdom and knowledge to pull from, you're caring, you have this healing energy about you. I almost bit my tongue, so I'm going to say that might have been significant for someone here. Maybe there's something about never say never, never say never. So maybe this is something that you said you would never ever do, or someone that you're dealing with has said that they would never do something. There's something about this situation where someone's feeling compelled to be honest, right? So maybe someone around you in regards to relationships has said that they would never remarry, or they would never be in a relationship, or they would never date someone with children, or they would never love again. There's something about someone having to eat their words or bite their own tongue because there's just something about like get out of jail free card, there's an opportunity, a window, a door being opened here, and it could change everything just by being honest, or just by retracting something you may have said, right? I am picking up here that someone has a past as well, and someone with a past maybe changing their perspective or changing the way that they think. They've made some type of decision to take initiative or like paint a new story. This could literally be someone that made a lot of bad decisions in their life and may be faced with like going to jail for a long time. Could be someone that you know, Taurus, or someone in connection with you, maybe currently dealing with the reality of, their choices, whether that be good or bad. And it feels like it's taking them somewhere where they may have to sit down or sit out for a while, but it's meant to be some type of blessing in disguise. And when they're released, throughout their time, they're reinventing themselves, they're recreating themselves. For some of you, it is an actual physical jail, or someone that you know may have went to jail, and when they come out, this is what they are. This is the divine guidance that is beckoning for them, okay? For others of you that still resonate with this message, I feel like this is someone that may have felt like they were a prisoner to their true authentic self, as in they've been making a lot of decisions and they've been having to move in a way where maybe it didn't serve their highest and greatest good. Maybe it left them feeling like they had to lie to Peter to pay Paul, or they had to play tricks and be manipulative. And it's like this underhanded type of energy and this dishonesty around the people that they have around them. Their circle feels very toxic, or their circle feels very self-serving. And whoever this person is to you, Taurus, or this could be you too, Taurus, they don't want to live like that anymore. They no longer want to be a prisoner to the role or the responsibility, or the projection of other people's thought processes on them, because I feel like those patterns have gone a long way with them thus far, and it only like slowed down their success. It only slowed down their career goals. It slowed down their ambitions. And throughout their journey, they've been learning that they really haven't tapped into that aspect of themselves that really allows them to be their true authentic self without caring what the world thinks, without caring if they're doing the right thing. This is a new lease on life for someone, a new restoration, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's more on a soul level, because whoever this person is, the strategies that they've made have been in survival mode, and a lot of their decisions are about to change, and it's about to be to like thrive and experience and create and liberate themselves first. So someone's going through like an ascension process where they're about to reveal another phase in their journey. This phase feels like it's right on time. So some of the closed doors or boxes that this person or you, Taurus, have been put in were strategically placed there for you to find your truth and for you to discover who you are authentically. And then you just speak on those things and create from that. So this is someone that's a raw creator. If you're new to this channel, Taurus, welcome to our little love nest over here on Talk Taurus Tarot. If you're returning, welcome back. Let's get Spirit's message. Before we do that, I do want to let you guys know very soon I will be closing my Wizio page. I will be taking down the options to book personal readings with me for a while. I feel like Spirit's calling me to redirect my attention somewhere else. Don't know exactly where that be right now, but usually when I feel this urgent sense of urgency, it's always for the better for everyone, right? So I'm not gonna fight it. For those of you that have allowed me to do personal readings on you thus far, I appreciate you entrusting me with your energy and allowing me to read for you. The readings and the due dates of when they're supposed to come out, you will receive your readings. I'm a woman of my word and integrity. And if you are looking to book a reading, you are more than welcome to book that. The link to my Wizio is in the description box down below. You can book it and select whichever reading that you do want. Again, once you see like the page and everything will still be up, but like the option to like select a reading may be disabled for a while. So I can't tell you how long that will be, but I just wanted to let you guys know and thank you guys for trusting me. Okay, so Spirit, let's see. Y'all know it's about to be crazy, right? If y'all don't know, now you know. It's what, October? Today's a very it's a sentimental day for me. All right, today is the birthday of a very dear love of mine. He passed away last year. All right, and through his passing, he was fighting a lot of demons, and Spirit is asking me to share that for someone that will be guided to this reading. And when you are guided to this reading, and if you have lost anyone that you love, maybe it'll resonate, maybe it won't. Maybe it'll bring you comfort. Hopefully it does. But yeah, this is someone that I consider my life partner. This is someone that is and always will be very special to me. He will always hold a very special place in my heart. And any person that loves me afterwards would just have to understand that and be mature enough to handle that. But he is the reason why I realized and discovered that I deserved better, or that better even existed. A little backstory on he and I met him at a point in my life where I was walking away from one situation. I was changing my life and I was completing a cycle. Before I had my son, I was at that crossroads where my children weren't taking it very well that I was leaving their father. Um, at first they were fine. Like my oldest two girls were fine. One day, per the custody arrangement at the time, he was allowed to still see my children. He was allowed to, we swapped weekends or whatever, and I was in a relationship with a man. During that time, he did something very traumatic to my oldest daughter. She's always been a bubbly spirit. She's a Libra. She's a very beautiful spirit. She's always, very outgoing, optimistic. But whatever happened that day when I picked her up, she had determined that she hated me. She had determined that I ruined the picture that she had. Now, mind you, she had spent already months getting to know my new relationship, and they had a wonderful relationship. He was there for her birthday. This is the type of man, let me listen, okay? And you don't find a lot of people like this, especially a lot of people that just have like that warrior spirit, right? We just had an understanding, you know what I'm saying? We didn't have insecurities in our relationship. We didn't have those things that I came from in my previous relationship with one another. It was always a beautiful discussion. Anytime that we had a situation of misunderstanding, we handle it amicably. And I came from a relationship prior to that where we argued and argued and argued, and it was just unhealthy for the both of us. And I sent him off with love, and there was no love lost in that situation, even though I decided that I wanted to be on my own, right? Once I met the other gentleman, right? He was just my friend first. He just chose to be my friend, and we had fun together. My children loved him. We were great. It was beautiful. Right? And he had a similar situation where, him and his ex-spouse, they split up as well. Me and mine, we split up before we knew each other. He had long before me split up with his spouse. So he had an opportunity to mature, right? Because prior to that, coming into that relationship with me, he admitted, I was immature. And if I didn't go through that relationship, I wouldn't be able to, stand here and be mature and have a conversation with your ex-spouse and let him know, I understand where you are, but you can't control nobody, So he had a big brother type of conversation with my immature ex-spouse. And I was just enamored that he had the spiritual, mental, and physical capacity to engage in conversation with him and didn't need to throw around ego and possessiveness and all that other stuff. So I really respected him for that. Now, where I had a weakness, okay, and this is where I feel spirit is really wanting me to like establish the difference. I knew I didn't want to be with him, but I had a weakness, and my weakness was my children, right? A lot of times what manipulative people do, or when we are in resisting the change that the universe and our souls are wanting to align with, the enemy, for lack of better words, in opposition of what you want, or anyone in opposition of what you want, will search for a weakness, and then they will constantly attack that weakness until you become a penetrable force. Structure, right? So he knew I loved my children regardless of anything. That's the reason why he knocked me up to begin with, right? When I was in college and I wasn't ready to have children, I assumed responsibility. But we laid down and we had those children. the guards that I chose to put down and the boundaries I chose to really was pretty much wanting to falsely entrust. I ignore my intuition, but I felt like he had his own intentions. But nonetheless, when he felt like I was outgrowing him, it's like an underlying jealousy. Like, I feel like you're outgrowing me. You're too fast. You're growing. You're elevating too quickly. So I need to trap you. I need to get you pregnant because I know like you are a catch, right? So that's kind of like how that situation transpired. And knowing my values of what I didn't want my children to have to experience from my broken home situation when my daughter was 4, and her father and I split ways officially. He did something traumatic to her that over time she will want, she's still getting therapy for it, and she probably will still continue to get therapy for it as she gets older, right? But he just took like all the pictures and ripped them up and told her that she was a traitor or whatever because she had a great relationship with my then relationship at the time. And to a child, they see love. They see the way you treat them. They don't see titles and loyalty and all those societal parameters that we put around love. Children are so innocent about it that they're not possessive. They don't come out that way. It's the parents that shape and tell them how they're supposed to express that love and how it's conditional. So all these conditions were placed on her and then redirected it as, well, now I can't love you because you chose someone else. She's 4. So processing that information in her mind, that's her father. I love everybody, including you. In her mind, when he said the words to her, your mom betrayed me and so have you, and you're just like your mom, he knew he was redirecting the blame towards the mother. And he knew that he would plant a seed in her that would fester and it would prevent her and me from having a wonderful relationship, and it would become the beginning of an ever-ending cycle of recreating and reestablishing trust because it was tampered with at a very vulnerable age. So when I saw that it was doing something to her, I felt like she needed more time. I felt like she needed more time to have me to herself, right? Without a relationship. I got to a very dark place where I was like, you know what? I'm never going to beat this monster. I'm never going to be able to come up against his tactics. And my children, the only way that I believed at that time, the only way that I could protect my children was to get back with him. Truthfully, that was my thought process. The only way I can, I'll just do my 18-year sentence and allow them to live a normal life, whatever picture it is, and I would swallow my pride and I would do whatever was necessary and I would give this person whatever they wanted just to protect my children. So I went into this survival mode of wanting to surrender to what I felt was an unstoppable force. I believed at the time that no one could stop him, and my reality was vastly looking like I didn't have family support. I didn't have anyone that had my back that was reinforcing positive energy back into me or encouraging me to stand tall. He reached out to all my family and they were like, well, he loves you and the kids, and the excuses that are made when people are encouraging you or reinforcing for you the narrative that someone else wanted for you all along. It was nowhere near what you wanted for yourself. So in that situation, I told him that I had to go my separate ways, that I needed what my plans was, and he respected my plans. It hurt. He never stopped being my friend, but he respected my relationship and my choices, and he handled it very maturely at that time. I feel like he had, you know, did it hurt? I'm sure, absolutely. He would tell me that, but he never really how do I say this? I want to say vocalized it. I feel like he kind of did the same thing that I did, right? He went and got into an unhealthy relationship and was like, fuck it. What's the point? And just like my situation, she was just like my ex to him, and they had a very unhealthy relationship. And she was very jealous of me, and even though we didn't communicate anymore, she stalked me, and it was just really became very, very messy. Anytime we tried to reconnect on any level, it's like the both of them knew. Anytime we broke up with or tried to get out of our situations and get back to each other, the both of them knew. The both of them just some way somehow knew, like, I mean, of course you know when someone doesn't love you, but people don't care. I'm sure my ex-spouse knew I didn't love him, and his fear caused him to want to trap me and put me in a cage and guarantee it for him, So he went off to have his children. He lost one of his children, and I think that was the pivotal moment where he kind of lost himself. And I'll never forget, he said to me, he was like, you did this. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, he said, I'm not scared. I'm not afraid to die, right? And I was like, what? He's like, I'm not afraid to die. This was after his daughter was stillborn, that he had with his last girlfriend or whatever. He was like, I'm not afraid to die. And I was like, we can't speak to each other. You're in a relationship. I'm in a relationship. I'm gonna always be your friend. I'm always have love for you or whatever. But in that particular moment, he was like, he believed that we had a mission together. He believed that we were meant to be together. He believed that we had a purpose that we needed to fulfill together, and that I reneged on that contract, is what he said to me. Now, this is before I knew anything about tarot. This is before I knew anything about anything. I didn't know anything about spirituality. I was still in religion to a degree. I was more spiritual than I was religion. I was at the time very mad at God because of my children and their health situation. And he was explaining to me, that he went to a healer, and he went and was told X, Y, Z. And he tried to tell me, and it's funny because he's a Libra too, right? He was telling me that, that healer or that psychic told him that we were supposed to do something together. We had something to complete together, a path or a aspect of our journey. We were supposed to do something or have something together. So I was like, okay. I'm listening to him, and I'm like, maybe he's just losing his mind because he just lost his child, And I had that thought process in my mind. I was like, he's never done drugs. He was not that type of person. He fell on hard times into a dark place, and I know it's what it's like to be in that dark place and wonder, like, have to climb yourself out of it, and no one's looking back to pull you up. So I empathize with him, I did when I contemplated taking drugs, and he was there to tell me no, showed me alternatives, and he was at his high and I was at my low. And then the roles reversed when I broke up with him, and he was at his low and I was climbing out of my hole, and he was feeling lower and lower. He believed that the reason why his daughter passed away as a stillborn was because he was with a karmic partner. Those are the words that he used to me. And I want to say he planted seeds into my consciousness of words that I never thought I would understand if I hadn't experienced it, right? And that we both were subject to karmic relationships and we were never going to find happiness outside of each other, is what he explained to me. He told me I was his soulmate and that he and I were meant to do something together. We had a contract together, is what he said. And you know me in my head, I don't have a contract with nobody. I don't have a contract with nobody. You feel me? But he was a lot older than me. He was a lot wiser than me, and in a lot of ways, I don't think I really knew that someone else had the capacity or carried the capacity to love me in the way in which I love other people outside of him. So in so many ways, I felt connected to him because like he loved hard. So he was the type of person where he didn't do well to police brutality. He was out there in the streets and he was that type of person, like a Nat Turner energy. He was rebellious. And I loved him for his rebellious spirit. I still do, because it's something that never dies. And he's the type of person where he's gonna fight for what he believes in, tooth and nail. Now, that particular person, I'm not calling any names, but she was evil. She was karmic in the sense where she would literally harm herself and do a lot of dark things and do spells and a lot of different stuff. And I thought he was tripping and lying, but he was fighting it by himself, and I'm fiddling at this point because, it's like when he was locked up and he was in jail, I said, I checked on him because I used to frequently just check the police records to see if he was okay. You know what I mean? And I forgot what it was. I think I called his phone one time. Something just said call him. And I called his phone one time and his girl picked up or whatever. And I just, I gave my condolences and, told her I wouldn't wish no mother would ever lose their child. I have a child, stuff like that. And, she just confided in me and told me that she was, struggling because he was locked up and she wasn't able to really provide or get him out and X, Y, and Z. So I just sent her money. What's your Cash App? I just sent her money. Because as far as I was concerned, that's just who I am, in my head, fuck the logistics, fuck the semantics or the titles. If I love you, I love you. It's not conditional on what you're doing for me lately. And he was the first person that showed me that someone else on the other end could do it for me too. So really I owe it to him as to why I even believe that the version of you and all the goodness and the love that you give as an individual, that there is someone that's just as loving, just as caring, just as compassionate, just as touched as you, whether they're a good friend, whether they're a lover or just a stable person in your life. So that was how God was showing, the Creator was showing me through experience that I exist, and that's how I repaired my relationship with the Creator. And that's what brought me to this table. So last year I made a vow, all right, I'm going to stop the back and forth. I'm going to stop talking to this person. I'm always going to love them. But when she had a conversation with me and she was like, You know, please stop talking to him, whatever, whatever. Of course, he would never say it to me, but she asked me, like, woman to woman, like, homegirl, leave my man alone, okay? That's what she said. She was just like, leave him alone. Stop talking to me. You're creating rift in my life. And I said, at some point, you know, I pray that he finds it within himself to, you know, if he's unhappy, to walk away, and I'm going to step out of the situation. Fuck it. Okay. And I stepped out of the situation. I did not answer this man's phone calls. I did not speak to him for like 9 months. Right. The last time I saw him, he did something that really like made me feel like he had went too far. No matter how much I loved him, that he went too far on the dark end, and I couldn't save him. You feel me? And that was the hardest thing, is I wanted to fucking save him. I picked him up in the middle of nowhere out in Conyers when I lived in Georgia. And like, it didn't matter what this man looked like. Y'all don't even understand. It didn't matter what this man looked like. It didn't matter if he had one shoe on his foot or one off his foot. Didn't matter if he was dressed to impress or not. Like, it was like no time had passed in my eyes. That's just the way I felt for him. The way like I embraced him. I immediately wanted to like take him and, you know, wipe him down and hug him and love him, and it showed me that I have this thing within me. I have this desire within me to fix people, you know, like fix everybody I love. I just wanted to fix them. Self-sacrificing, right? Resonating with everyone like a savior is how I have always felt, and it's a very lonely feeling. So I promise you, it's only by the grace of God that you could have that type of strength, right? And it comes in an infinite supply, because just as a human being alone, you would give up. You know what I mean? So to know that it's not built within me to give up, so therefore it's hard for me to give up on people. It's hard for me to give up on humanity. It's hard for me to give up. There's always a solution. Always erasing, rewriting, reinventing. And he always used to say to me, the 13th was his favorite day. His favorite day was the 13th. He loved death. Like, he just had no fear. He just was like, you know, when he was younger, he found his mom dead in a tub. He was told that she committed suicide. So that's a burden he walked around with for majority of his life. He always felt like she didn't kill herself because he wasn't willing to kill himself, you know. So it was just a lot of things, a lot of trauma that was, you know, rooted in that journey with him. And when I made my mind up to cut that cord and to really be done with the back and forth and the chase to get to him, you know, and him to me, it was fucking hard. So anytime that, you know, he would talk to me, she'd lock him up, like, easy, real cold. She'd call the cops and say he did something, and, you know, he don't like to be questioned by the authority, or he can already see they're racially profiling him. So A lot of times he would snap or talk slick, and it would lead to him saying no. And you know, he wasn't strategic and sneaky. He was loud and in your face. Like, he didn't hide behind a mask or try to like curtail your ego. He said what the fuck he thought. And I had so much respect for him. Like, he didn't ever care what people thought. And in this society, it's always like, oh, say it nicely, or say it diplomatically, or say it the way people want to hear it in order for them to like you. Like, who fucking cares about all of that? Why do we care? Why can't we have a conversation and be transparent? Why is it frowned upon? You know, why is it like everything has to be pretty when we're living in a world where like people are starving? You know what I mean? What are we doing? Why are we failing in these areas? Why is help and resources unaccessible to certain people? That shit just don't feel right. And I know he needed help. Y'all don't understand, like, I was so exhausted. I literally, like, the last time I saw him was at a park. He was so strung out. And he was like, you know, I was in my car and he was I let him drive, and he was driving crazy, and he was just acting like I didn't recognize him. And I was like, I can't save him, you know? I felt like I couldn't save him in that moment. And I was like, I gotta go. I said, I have to go. And I wanted to get back home to my kids. I was up all night with him. He asked me for money. And to drop him off to a park. And I dropped him off to the park. He was like, after today, it's no more I, it's we. We're gonna be together. And then I was like, yeah, okay. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I was looking at him like, what did you let happen to you? You know what I'm saying? This is risky. Kids. Like, what did you do? And clearly I could tell that he was strung out on fucking something. He wasn't talking right, and he didn't trust nobody but me. And that's the last time I saw him. And for 9 months, I think he called me collect calls. And the only reason why I know that is because I went back to my ex and he went back to his ex. And I gave my ex complete control over my phone because he didn't trust me. So I was like, fuck it. We've gone too far. You know what I'm saying? We've gone too far into the deep end, and this would be too hard. It felt too hard to deal with him in that way. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, I didn't know where to take him to get help. I had never been in a situation before, and it was making me feel like I'm doing it all over again. You know what I'm saying? I'm rescuing people and I'm trying to save people, and that's a problem for me. You know what I'm saying? So this shit is crazy. Last year, I hadn't spent my son had got sick last year around September with like coronavirus, not COVID, but just the coronavirus part. And I was like, I haven't been in the hospital for 2 years, and now I'm back here at the hospital. And I'll never forget, like, I started having like supernatural experiences, and literally September 13th came. That was the day I was in the hospital, and all of a sudden I'm on the phone talking to my sister, and I'm just like, you know what? The only person that has ever sat with me in this hospital, just as a friend, was him. The only person that has ever, you know, he brought him and his kids up into the hospital, and we sat there together while Sophia, but my youngest daughter, was recovering. It was priceless. You know what I'm saying? It was just priceless. And I never forget, I was doing readings at the hospital, and I was doing a reading for someone, and I literally felt like I had a mediumship experience where I was like, oh my God, I feel like I just got shot in the head, right? And I just started busting out in tears. I just started crying. I had to like end the live. I was like, this was a lot. I was like, maybe it's because I'm in the hospital and I'm extra sensitive, so come to find out, I started hearing a lot of different messages, like telepathically, while I was in the hospital. Like I was told that I was talking in my sleep in different languages and shit, and I was having like an experience where I don't even remember what the fuck I was saying, but it was like, no, I didn't. You know, I didn't say none of that. Come to find out, that morning, my cousin called me and she was like, you know, Keela, Jaja's dead. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, like Jaja is dead. And I'm like, no fucking way. So come to find out, he committed suicide. Well, according to records, he shot himself. He got up out the bed. He had just got out of the prison. He was extremely vulnerable, and he went into the bathroom and pulled the trigger. His and the crazy part about it is, just like I told you guys that his mother died in the bathroom, so did he. And it was the hardest 3 weeks of my life, because the last time I saw him, I feel like I left him. And I'm not saying none of that. I'm not saying any of that because I feel like I regret it or anything like that. I made a choice and I stand by it. I did what I felt in my heart was best. Everything happens for a reason, and everything comes full circle, and I feel like I'm grateful for the impact that he's had in my life. I'm grateful for, the level of that journey that we spent together, and how he carried me even after his passing and has brought me this far. I don't think I would have got out of that cycle of constantly going back to my ex-husband if it wasn't for him and his death. And I know at times we're like, well, why do they have to die? Sometimes a person's death is just that impactful. You won't repeat some certain shit because of that person's passing. It's just that great, and I'm not saying that's what it is, but he didn't want to be remembered as that. Matter of fact, in his mind, I wasn't answering his phone calls. In his mind, he wanted to see me date. He wanted to see me live my life. And I went to medium after medium, and I was like, am I hearing this right? Like, he really wants me to live my life? And they all said the same damn thing. 10 different people said the same damn thing. And it was just confirming that I was receiving the mediumship. I wouldn't have legally got divorced if he wasn't there. And the crazy part about it is, for like a month straight, up until his memorial, my ex-husband didn't even know that he passed away. And let me tell you, like, my ex-husband didn't even know he passed away. Sometimes shit is just safer in a vessel. Certain people that they take out of this dimension, they take out of this game, and they push to that degree. You don't know the soul that was tethered to that vessel, and the type of havoc that they can inflict, or the type of, you just don't, it's not as cookie cutter as everybody thinks. And the type of thoughts that my ex-husband would call, and I just paid attention. I just was watching and observing, and he would say he was always talking about him, or out of nowhere, and mentioning how like he didn't even want to live no more. So it's like, you'll be surprised how these thoughts are not just your own, but when somebody is like said they're gonna come for you, they can mean it. All right, not every spirit is at peace, and I'm not saying that he ain't at peace. What I'm saying is that he said that he promised that he would get me out. He promised that he would get me out of that situation, and that was his job, and that he was going to make sure I got out of it. Okay? He revealed to me a lot. A lot. Truth about everything. A lot of things. And I wouldn't have legally been able to get my divorce. It's just like, by his birthday this time last year, not only was I able to financially afford that divorce, and sign those papers, but by the grace, okay, of spirit, moving through the shit that was fucking trying to hurt me, through the people's closest to me. He signed those papers, okay, and signing those papers gave me my freedom. Y'all don't even understand. Spiritual warfare is real, and it could come in the people closest to you. All right. So if you feel like there's someone that you love, and you feel like there's someone that, means so much to you, and they're in a dark place, I just want you to know that I feel you. You know what I'm saying? That I feel you. I know what it's like. Look at that. Mirror, reflections, and protection. I feel you. And you are protected during this time. While emotions are running high, you are reflected, and remaining optimistic and keeping your eyes on the bright side and trusting your ancestors is needed right now, because I really do feel like it's some sneaky shit about to come up, happen, be done. All right. And it's all surrounding your good nature. It's all surrounding what you know. Like, you are so valuable based off of the things that you have overcame, the demons you have conquered. They don't like that. All right. Them entities do not like that you recognize and you see shit for what it is, and you move accordingly. You're a threat. You have a moving target on your back. But all your ancestor sacrifices are for you to be able to live a different story than the one that they experienced. All right, they failed so you could succeed, or they succeeded so you could succeed some more. It's okay to surrender. In that moment when I left y'all at the park, I feel like I surrendered. And as hard as it was, in my spirit, it felt like that's the most that I could do. Is to give him everything in my wallet. And he didn't stop me. And I know I did the right thing. You know? We'll never know. Now will we? But healing is definitely here. No fucking way. I know you're lying. Look at that. This entire reading I was talking about, his favorite number is 13. I'll be back, y'all. Alright, I'm back. So I had to pull my shit together. But yeah, this is definitely for those of you that have lost anyone, those of you that have been mentally trapped or stuck in the memories of that person, or what happened and how things went down, or whatever. If you resonate with that story, and you want love, and you some of you are maybe experiencing like you're not ready to love because it's so fresh. Granted, those souls want you to know that they are protecting you, they are guiding you, and they will help you face your fears and accept your power and transform your life and heal and perform surgery on you and activate parts of yourself that may have been out of touch with emotions due to these traumatic experiences. All right. And unbeknownst to you, they are motivating you and encouraging you to find stability throughout these changes, and sending you signs and synchronicities, and letting you know it's okay to be patient. It's okay to take your time with yourself, and be gentle with yourself, and forgive yourself. Forgive them. Okay. I'm picking up parents as well that are coming through. Parents that have passed away. And they didn't give you the experience that you may have needed, Taurus, to help you be the best version of yourself, or set a better example for you. They want you to know that they want to heal that. All right. If you have mothers, fathers, or people that weren't able to, they want to take that burden off of you and help reconcile whatever was broken, or whatever needs to change, and help you complete those cycles. And they want you to know that they are living, and they are around you at all times, and you are not doing this by yourself. Your immediate loved ones. It's been super thick this month. It is the month of October. The veil is always thin for me in the month of October. Everyone is coming to communicate with their loved ones. Look at that, the sun. I want you to know that they're happy. They're happy that you're taking it every single day, and you're doing it with or without them physically here. And they're so proud of you. Look how far you've come. Look at that Taurus energy. The stability and look at that. The stability and the decision you made to do something on your own. Be single. Focus on yourself. Step into your power. See it through the illusions, right? You've been listening to spirit by night, and clarity is coming to you by day. By sunrise, you're gonna feel like a totally new person by the 14th. And the very next day, something is gonna click for you, and you'll be able to move on. You'll be able to move on in this healing, someone's gonna come to you and physically manifest to you. Yeah. Some of you may have that experience where you see your loved one at the edge of your bed, or don't be afraid. Okay, if things have been hard for you, relationships have been hard for you, they want you to know that none of this has been in vain. Being alone being single by yourself on this solitude journey of self-love, none of it's in vain. And if it was hard, it's about to lighten up. Your load is about to be lightened. Your burden is about to be eased. Someone is coming towards you that's very emotionally intelligent with this Hermit and the High Priestess. They're spiritually in tune. Okay. You have mirroring. So I feel like right now, any past relationships are like, they just want you to know that they unconditionally love you. When you look in the mirror, they look back at you. And there's someone that is aligned with you. Someone's going to see themselves in you. You're going to be able to have a relationship that isn't based off lies, that isn't based off deceit. It's based off of someone that is just like you. And for those of you that have lost a loved one, they're always there. Look at that. The connection is always there. If you feel like this was your twin flame, or you feel like this was your life partner, your soulmate, that connection is always going to be there. And And even though you can't see it, like I said, the best part is that you guys got to share a part of this journey together. And even though it may be divided now through physical flesh, your soul and this person will always be connected. You're never alone. Anyone come trying you, don't you worry. Okay? So they want you to know as well, for those of you that are ready to re-love, and those of you that are ready to move on, that it's okay. All right, this is like, this warm embrace came up in a telepathic message. Like I said, someone is coming towards you that's very caring. They're healing. They give good advice. All right, understanding. They're motivating. Both of you guys will motivate each other. Okay, this is someone that's in touch with their emotions. So whether they're male or female, they are not afraid of tapping into their feminine energy. Okay, they're very mature and emotionally stable as a person. And this is, you know, the reason why this is the reason why people are like trying to stop this love connection from coming in, because they want you to continue a cycle with them. So if your exes are returning, and you know you don't want them, they just want you to understand and know why that is, that this is happening, because that's how close you are to achieving this goal, this of having a relationship that is beautiful. Okay, look at those third party energies, just really trying to stop this connection by reinserting themselves in your life. And I feel like, you know, my spirit, it being put on me to share my story, and how everything was just so synchronistic and it was so wild. None of it was in vain. Okay, whether they're still here or they're not, they're always checking your rear view for you. They're always having your back. Okay, clearing the way for you. Especially when you're being attacked physically, spiritually, or mentally. You are not doing this alone. Like, all your loved ones are gathered here today on your behalf, Taurus. The Wheel of Fortune to help you go in there. Look at that. You see how all these like people behind here, how I'll turn the light on. Like, all of them are rooting you on, Taurus. Like, yes, go that way, go that way. You will reach the finish line. Look at that. The Six of Wands. You will be victorious. If you're having money struggles, you're going to be okay. If you're not wondering how you're going to make it out, 30-21. How you're going to get out of a situation without nothing to start with. If you're having transportation issues, you're being guided. You're going to get that transportation. You're going to get that car. You're going to get that loving relationship. You're going to get a lot of great blessings coming towards you, Taurus, and you deserve every single bit of it. Okay, money or property through an inheritance, winning or windfall. So there's some type of inheritance. Okay, some of you have had to part ways. Hold on, hold up, my camera. Some of you may have had to part ways, or you will have to part ways, like I explained or gave a testimony to, or testified to how I had to part ways. Either it was romantic or in business. And, you know, we're not perfect. We try and try again. Look at that purse. Pay attention to your finances. Okay, so I do feel like a lot of you may be having what I call, you know how your exes always come back. This one's for my ex. Okay, so your exes might come back during this time of year when they're struggling. And it says successful overcoming a problem. So yeah, someone may be trying to to like stop your money, stop things from going towards you, make you feel unstable without them. All right, you may have one person here you know you need to walk away from, another person that doesn't want to stop holding on to you. And look, you got romance in the air. Okay? Romance in the air. Love, deep affection, caring. And that's on the other side of a successful overcoming this season right now. This energy of lack. Don't allow yourself to overgive, and don't feel guilty about it. All right, Taurus. I hope this helps. Whoever needed this message, I hope it brings you comfort. I love each and every single one of you. This is Friday's reading, so I probably won't have another tarot reading till Monday. But if you are here around 1 p.m. on Friday, which is tomorrow for me, today for you, I will be doing the Taurus show. All right, it will be a live stream on Friday. Every Friday around 1 p.m. God willing, I will be there, and we'll talk it up, chop it up in person. And yeah, I think that's about it. Sending y'all lots of love, wisdom, and guidance on your journey. Until tomorrow. Bye.